another each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Happy sober after Monday. That did not work. Happy sober Monday after. There we go. Sober afternoon. Something like that. John's not doing the best at speaking here, is he? Whoa. I apologize. I should not have put that up. Let's check this one out though. I'm looking at some borders. All right. The thing is when things are moving on the screen, people are less likely to listen to you because they're too busy watching. Oh, look, it's the rain. It's the rain clouds. What else do we have? Do we have snow? Oh, we have more rain. It's raining again. We got some snow. Oh, those are sparkles. Look at the sparkles. Some sunglasses that really are just sitting there. But yay. All right. Enough of those. We're going to do a random reading from the big book today. We're going to do a random reading. It's just fun to say. Random reading. Random reading. All right. Is everybody else kind of done with the cruelty in this world? Why are we so... It's like we got to be so quick to anger. And half the time, I don't even know what you're fucking trying to defend anymore. You know. Oh, man. Just... And it's anger without even justification. Just, I didn't like what you did. And now you got to be careful. Or you'll get canceled because you did a wrong thing in the wrong place, man. Oh, I'm so glad we didn't have social media when I was growing up, man. I wasn't the nicest person a good chunk of my life. I apologize. I forgot to take my meds this morning, so I'm taking my meds. Okay, these are just fish oil, some aspirin, and then my heart meds. I take these so that I have a heart. These are my empathy meds. High blood pressure, that kind of stuff. Cholesterol. I have the basic old people drugs. Yeah, your blood thinners, yeah. We didn't need all this stuff in the day. All right, but what do we really have? I hate to say it, but if you live in America, you ain't got really shit to complain about, man. You got it good. I got it good, man. Man. So we don't need more. So how about we stop creating problems? Right? Unless you actually heard the person say it, don't believe it. Right now they're trying to blame. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into it. I mean, it's just stupid. And people we get upset over the littlest things. If you can't walk around this world and be offended and be okay, you're going to have a hard time, man. It is so easy to hide behind cameras and everything else. And, and I know it because I've done it. Right. But anyway, all right. Give me a random number between 1 and 164. Okay, come on. 70. See, even that's moving a little slow. A little slow. So page 70 is where we're going to go. That'll be in How It Works, I believe. Oh, the last pages about. See the last pages of How It Works here. Yep. One of my least favorite topics, but I didn't pick it. God did it. So we're going to do a little salt and pepper here, and we're going to talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Welcome to Daily Trudge. Singing, dancing, entertainment, recovery. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. So let's get started. I'm going to start on page 68. Oh, we almost had a really bad joke there because I was going to start on page 69. And yeah, would have gotten jokes about that. So we're going to start on 68 to avoid that. Now about sex. Many of us need an overhauling there, but above all, try and be sensible on this question. It's so easy to get way off the track. Here we find human opinions running to absurd extremes, perhaps. All right. Now here's part of the problem. Notice the two things that they tend to talk about in here when it comes to a lot of stuff is money and sex. Relationships, not even necessarily sex. All right. Now, alcohol fucked this all up for me. It took a long time before I knew what appropriate love was. I didn't get it. I thought everything had innuendo in it. Right? It is because if we don't find God, one of the two things we're going to go after is either money or another human being. Well, she's really pretty. If I had sex with her, then my self-esteem would go up. See, it's not have sex with other person esteem. That's not it. No. Wow. So we got to be careful in this. Now, this is between you and God and your partner. Right? So, one set of voices cries that sex is a lust of our lower nature, a base necessity for procreation. Then we have the voices cry for sex and more sex, who bewail the institution of marriage, who think that most of the troubles of the race are traceable to sex causes. They think we do not have enough of it, or that it isn't the right kind. They see its significance everywhere. One school would allow men no flavor for his fare, and the other would have us all on a straight pepper diet. We want to stay out of this controversy. We do not want to be the arbiter of anyone's sex conduct. We all have sex problems. We'd hardly be human if we didn't. What can we do about them? Well, we can utilize the same process that we have been using for this also. Awareness being the first thing. Okay? You really want to know? A really good book is The 5 Love Languages. Okay? But in this case, we're talking about a sex inventory. Okay? I'm not even going to start to dip into mine. I'm not going to talk about my sex conduct here. I would find that inappropriate. Okay? Not everybody does, and that's okay too. All right? This is a hard topic for me to talk about because I'm a little embarrassed. You know? I'll put it this way. I was not a very giving lover. I wasn't. In fact, I was horrible. But we're talking about going and cleaning up our past here too. Okay, so in this case, you can do yourself a favor, your current partner a favor by taking a look at this stuff and confronting it so that you can be a better person. All right. Now I go to these extremes. So my wife and I were doing what we call like safe touching right now, what I'm comfortable with. I've never been a touchy-feely person, but alcohol made me look that way. It sure did. But that wasn't love. It was lust, man. Right? There were times when I slept with girls, so I had a place to stay. Girls aren't the only ones that do that stuff. I don't know how I got away with it, but I did. I got called a lot of names. Little drummer boy. Yeah, I was just like, I was always a side piece. I never really felt good. Anyway. All right. Now, it says we reviewed our conduct over the years past. Where had we been selfish, dishonest, or inconsiderate? Okay, this is a new set. So my sex inventory was not part of it was different. I had another list that I had to make of my partners and the different intimate situations that I've been in, so I could see where I was selfish, dishonest, and inconsiderate. Whom had I hurt? Well, I hurt every single one of them. Did we unjustifiably arouse jealousy, suspicion, or bitterness? Yes, I did. Oh, yeah, I did. If we were drinking, we were gonna fight. It always ended that way. Always. Towards the end of my drinking, I would tell, and I was always looking to date. Of course I was. Taken or not, it didn't matter. Jesus. Where were we at fault? What should we have done instead? We got this all down on paper and looked at it. Now, this doesn't mean that we are going to go back to these people in this case in the 9th step. It is not for me to bring up to help make somebody else relive their trauma. Okay. We all run around right now. We're saying toxic and narcissist, and that's what we were when we were drinking. We were those kinds of people. You are not a true narcissist. I am not a true narcissist, is what I should say. But I did have narcissistic tendencies. Me. Right? I remember the girl I dated right after my first wife. She broke up with me and she said, Dion, you still got to sow your oats. And she was being nice. She was trying to tell me, you have no idea how to have a relationship. It didn't have to do with the sex. It had to do with the fact that I didn't know how to not be jealous. I was always causing suspicion and bitterness. Even in recovery, I've done that. I was about 24, 25 then. Right? But just like the rest of our inventories, a sex inventory, we need to sit down and figure out where we had been wrong, where we had been selfish. And I'm going to just have to say the whole darn thing for me was always about me. And I knew these women had an expectation of me, and I knew I was going to let them down. It was a setup. Because I always needed somebody in my life to make me feel better. And if it was a pretty girl, even better. Pretty girls are the only reason to go to work. Right? But this is how I was taught. I didn't know the difference. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's one of the things in my life where I wish I would have figured this out in my fucking 20s and 30s, not in my 50s, early 50s. I'll be 55 in 10 days. Hi, Amber. We're talking about the one thing Dion doesn't like to talk about because he did a random reading. So we're talking about sex. All right. Not sex in particular, but the sex inventory, right? In this way, we tried to shape a sane and sound ideal for our future sex life. Because see, the way I always saw it is if we weren't sleeping together, you didn't love me. It's been a week. That means it's a week and you don't love me. See, I didn't. And the thing is that's not in my love language. My love language is personal gifts. Personal ones. Right? Like this hanging from here. That was a personal gift. This chip that Amber made me. Personal gift. I have a lighter right here. I'll never put fluid in it. I'm not going to put fluid in it. My niece gave this to me when she came back. I even have some Turkish cookies. I will never open these. They're a reminder, right? Now I understand better. I understand things a little bit better, right? That was lust. It wasn't love. So I was going to have to relearn it. And it's okay. But do yourself a favor. Don't wait till you're older like me. All right. In this way, we tried to shape a sane and sound ideal for our future sex life. We subjected each relation to this test. Was it selfish or not? We asked God to mold our ideas and help us to live up to them. We remembered that our sex powers were God-given and therefore good, neither to be used lightly or selfishly, nor to be despised or loathed. All right. Whatever our ideal turns out to be, we must be willing to grow toward it. All right? So see the same process. Acceptance. Okay, awareness is the first one. Then acceptance. Okay. And then once we see it, the willingness to change it. So see, it's the same process. Okay. Now you might, like I was saying earlier, probably not go back to these people. If, like, do you think it would be cool that I went and contacted all my ex-girlfriends? Do you think my wife would be okay with that? I'm not sure that she would. Actually, I don't think it would. It probably wouldn't bother my wife at all because she just doesn't get jealous. And I think I've proven I ain't going nowhere. All right. My wife's the longest relationship I've had. Of course, it's been 16 years now. All right. So they're God-given, man. The main thing is this. Nobody has any right to determine anybody else's sexual conduct. That I do not get to do. No. Especially when I screwed it up all myself. All right. We must be willing to, and here it is. We must be willing to make amends where we have done harm, provided that we do not bring about still more harm in so doing. Huh. Amber says, do you think it would still work if they combine the wrongs list and the sex inventory? They're both wrongs list. They both go on to the 8th step. First of all, I think that's a really good question. My reactional answer to that would be to keep them separated because there tends to be more emotions. Also, it really drives home how selfish we are, how selfish we can be, I think. So my answer would be, it ain't broke, don't fix it. At the same time, I hear exactly what you're saying. Right? So, great question. And you're right. They both go on the 8-step list too, because I have to be willing, as long as I'm not going to injure somebody else or not. It isn't the, and if you can, then yes. Maybe you're one of those people where you're still friends with exes. Okay. None of my exes wanted to be friends with me. There's your indicator. All right. They didn't want to continue being friends with me. And I don't blame them. Thanks for the question. Thank you for that question, Amber. I appreciate it. In other words, we treat sex as we would any other problem. In meditation, we ask God what we should do about each specific matter. The right answer will come if we want it. If we want it. So if you're not sure that you should go approach somebody, we're going to use the same process that we would anyone else. I'm going to go to God. I'm going to go to my sponsor. I may even go to a couple of close friends that have been through some of the same situations as me. All right. God alone can judge our sex situation. Counsel with persons is often desirable, but we let God be the final judge. We realize that some people are as fanatical about sex as others are loose. We avoid hysterical thinking or advice. I'm certainly not going to hand out thinking or advice on this one, except the process to work through it. Other than that, I ain't gonna touch it. That's better left to a therapist for me. Now you might be one of those sponsors where you're better at it than me, which is gonna be too tough to do in this case. Okay. And I've certainly gotten better at it. A few years ago, if that would have come up, I'd be like, okay, we're picking a different page. I wouldn't even thought twice about it. So we make progress, and isn't that what we're looking at here? Okay, but the main thing is this: I have no right to judge anybody else's. They're like polygamy is making a comeback where you have more than one sex partner and the other people know about it. That's kind of making a comeback. They're calling it polyamorous or something. I don't know. So we're going to be neutral on that when it comes to other people. The only sex life I have to worry about is my own. I don't care what movie star is married to whatever movie star or anything else. I don't care. Their job is to entertain me. I care less. All right. Suppose we fall short of the chosen ideal and stumble. Does this mean we're going to get drunk? Some people tell us so. Okay. Now what they're talking about here, well, they're still kind of talking about sex, but now they're talking about the whole inventory, right? But this is only half the truth. It depends on us and our motives. If we are sorry for what we have done and have the honest desire to let God take us to better things, we believe that we are forgiven and we have learned our lesson. Forgiveness. Just like, what I did to other people, but maybe not in this same manner. Stole from them, lied, cheated, these types of things. Yeah. So if we have an honest desire to make it better, then no, you're not going to. We believe we will be forgiven and we have learned our lesson. If we are not sorry, our conduct continues to harm others, we are quite sure to drink. We are not theorizing. These are facts out of our experience. It's your attitude. So it says it depends on us and our motives. Are you truly sorry? Right? It made a qualification there. Change. You got to change. No change. No change. Right? You don't change, you're going to get the same consequences. You're going to continue hurting other people. Right? Now, some of these things, let's talk about step 13 for a little bit. First of all, so if you don't know, let's start out here. Step 13 used to mean you died sober. That's what it used to mean. Now it means that you're hitting on a newcomer. You're trying to get it on with a newcomer. Let's get it on. Right? See, I thought I was romantic. I wasn't. It was the alcohol. I was never romantic. Thought I was, but no. Right? So, yeah, where was I going with that? I don't even remember. My brain is still, I don't feel like I've been awake for weeks. All right. To sum up about sex, we earnestly pray for the right ideal, for guidance in each questionable situation, for sanity, and for the strength to do the right thing. If sex is very troublesome, we throw ourselves in the harder into helping others. We think of their needs and work for them. This takes us out of ourselves. It quiets the imperious urge when to yield would mean heartache. Oh, it's explaining step 13. All right. So this is when somebody that's been in the program a little bit longer is flirting. Okay. Now, even this, what is it about men that we need to flirt with the girl so we can, and if they flirt back, we can feel better about ourselves. And it doesn't seem like whatever age. Oh, I'm just flirting. You see, I'm not taking it that way anymore. I don't think that is harmless flirting. I don't. I used to think that until I did my sex inventory and realized that harmless flirting was not harmless at all. In fact, it was it might have driven some people out. Now, I didn't do it in the program. I was always married in the program, so not the very beginning. I had a girlfriend, right? Trying to think. I haven't been 13th step, not that I'm aware of anyway. All right. So to sum up about sex, we earnestly pray for the right ideal. Oh, I already read all that. All right. If we have been thorough about our personal inventory, we have written down a lot. We have listed and analyzed our resentments. We have begun to comprehend their futility and their fatality. We have commenced to see their terrible destructiveness. We have begun to learn tolerance, patience, and goodwill toward all men, even our enemies, for we look on them as sick people. We have listed the people we have hurt by our conduct and are willing to straighten out the past if we can. If you can. You may not be able to see everybody. You may not want to. The key here is willingness. You want that willingness. It's when we say no, never, that we will receive bad consequences. In this book, you read again and again that faith did for us what we could not do for ourselves. We hope you are now convinced. We hope you are convinced now that God can remove whatever self-will has blocked you off from him. If you have already made a decision and an inventory of your grosser handicaps, you have made a good beginning. That being, so you have swallowed and digested some big chunks of truth about yourself. And that is the random reading. So, I'm going up and down and up and down. Like, I'll feel good for a few minutes and then come back. And so, all right. Well, I have to go do an errand before the meeting starts. I got some time, but I'm not moving very fast. So, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.